Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League Racing TV here for round number 12 of the CTC Console Championship. My name is, of course, Michael Edwards, going to be taking you through the action as always here tonight. And what a track we go racing at here in Brazil. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Sao Paulo, and what a track to go racing at and to end the season. A quick look at the track. Of course, a 4.3 kilometer, 2.6 mile circuit in length, 15 corners, 2 DRS zones, 1 down the start finish straight, and 1 going down in towards turn number 4. Of course, the middle sector going to provide a lot of testing times for the drivers out there, where downforce is going to be crucial in that middle sector. A lot of undulation as you climb up the hill, then come down the hill, then back up the hill. It can really make things tricky on traction, especially if there is going to be any weather going to be playing a part in tonight. But before we go any further, let's go through our sponsors and partners here at CTC. Of course, Gridfinder. We just went through the fantastic advert just a moment ago. And now, of course, to Pivot Media, the marketing agency offering graphic and video designers to elevate your brand and business. Make sure you check out their X in the description down below. And of course, to Virtual Setup Engineer, the brand new setup shop for all of your setup needs, where they offer setups for all of the tracks, plus a custom chat box so you can customize the setup to your driving style. Now, of course, it is the end of the season. It is the final round, and of course, we got to be looking at what is on the line. Of course, we know right now, looking at the standings, Shazoo, they have taken the team's championship, and it really wasn't in question, is it? It's been done for some time. Obviously got sealed in the Circuit of the Americas for round number 10, but ET8 in second place, they have confirmed that now, and TF10, they're in third. It's not mathematically confirmed, but is very likely that they will round out the season with that bronze medal. Evolution Racing Team have an opportunity to try and overturn it, but 29 points is a big gap to overturn. And then, of course, we got the battle for fifth between Ground Effect Spec Racing and, of course, Legacy Racing in fifth and sixth, with 12 points separating them. And the reason that's going to be interesting, we'll get onto it in just a moment, but the battle for fifth is definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. It could change hands. And then, of course, we have the battle for seventh between All Elite Racing Team and Alien Motorsports. Only 2 points separating those two teams. And then, of course, Azuri Esports 2 points ahead of IRT, International Racing Team. And that's going to be another battle going through. Of course, Azuri Esports been here since round number 1. IRT came through late into the season, same as Ground Effect Spec as well. So both of those teams coming late into the season, doing a good job and having a good account for themselves despite joining late. So the reason why things are going to get a little bit interesting for fifth is quite simply Ground Effect Spec have not got a lineup here tonight, and Legacy have come with Typical and Jules. So an opportunity for them to get themselves fifth in the championship, a big opportunity for them to get themselves into the top 5. Ground Effect Spec, obviously no drivers for them here tonight. It's going to be unfortunate for them. They're not going to be able to get any points on the board for the final round, but they've had a fantastic season, especially considering coming in late into the season. They've had a fantastic go of it, and they can be very happy with the work that they've done. Of course, IRT with Pippin and Ivan, they're going to be going to with Azuri Esports, Justin and Pablo, and that's going to be an interesting battle. Of course, All Elite Racing Team with Crowden and Caden going to do battle with Cal Jagali. Okay, someone's going to have to tell me if I am pronouncing this correct or not. I don't know. But I'm going to go with Jagali. for Alien Motorsports. And of course, we got Edward in there as well. So that's going to be the battle right there between Alien Motorsports and All Elite Racing Team. Of course, Shazoo Championship sealed, done. They're coming through with Finley and Venom. ET8 P2 signed, sealed, delivered with Oxlu and Sergio. And then, of course, we have TF10, who are in third and are most likely going to be ending the season in third place with a 29-point gap to Evolution Racing Team and behind. But TF10 come through with Jerome and Snack. And then, of course, Evolution Racing Team coming through with Kevin Zumberg and Knight. So it's going to be a very uphill battle for Evolution Racing Team to overturn that. It is mathematically possible, though. So it just means that TF10 have to have an absolute horrid time of it out on track. And of course, we'll have a quick reminder of the point system here. 22 points for the race win, 18 points for second, 15 points for third, 12 points for fourth, and then it goes down in increments of 1 all the way down to P15, where you pick up 1 singular point. Of course, there's a point for pole position as well as the fastest lap of the race. And with that, I mean, is, as I said, it's mathematically possible, but it's going to be a very uphill battle for Evolution Racing Team to overturn that. And I just, the way TF10 have been driving this season, I mean, they've had races where it's been unfortunate to have fun in terms of the final results, but it is a sizable gap. I just don't see TF10 dropping enough for Evolution Racing Team to have a sniff at that top 3. Obviously, Legacy Racing, big advantage with Grand Effect Spec not being here tonight. Big opportunity for them to get 5th. But we've seen in the past where Legacy Racing, they've had good races, they've also had bad races as well. So it's one of those where it could go either way. 12 points is still a decent amount to overturn. So, I mean, they got a big opportunity, but it is not guaranteed. And of course, All Elite Racing Team and Alien Motorsports, 2 points separating them. And then, of course, Azuri Esports and IRT, 2 points separating them as well. It is going to be interesting to see who is going to be finishing in 5th, who's going to be finishing in 7th, and who's going to be finishing with the wooden spoon down in 10th place. And I mean, the door is open there for both Azuri and IRT to potentially claw enough points to get themselves in the mix with Alien Motorsport and All Elite Racing Team. Potential is there for that. It's just a case of how likely do you think that is. Let me know in the chat who you are supporting here tonight. Of course, in the chat right now, we got a comment saying go, 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 Jerome. And of course, Jerome is going to go indeed. Of course, one of the driver lineups here for TF10. Again, a quick reminder of the driver lineups. Of course, Finley and Venom, Oxlu and Sergio, Jagali and Edward, and then of course we got Zumberg and Knight, Jerome, Snack, Typical, Jules, Justin, Pablo, Crowden, Caden, and Pippin, as well as Ivan. As the drivers are beginning to ready up, so we'll be getting into the action in just a moment's time as we transfer ourselves over. But yeah, guys, let me know in the chat, who are you rooting for? Who do you have your money on? Will TF10 hold on to P3? I think they will. I think they will in the championship. I think they got a good sizable gap that unless they have an all-time stinker, Evolution Racing Team, they're just not going to get a sniff. But obviously it is mathematically it's still possible. And then of course, let me know who you got back for P5 in the championship. Is it Ground Effect Spec or is it Legacy Racing? And then of course, let me know that battle for 7th and the battle for 9th. Let me know your predictions on that. Is it going to be Azuri with the wooden spoon? Is it going to be IRT with the wooden spoon? Will both of them have good enough races that they can catch any of the teams in front of them in terms of Alien Motorsport and All Elite Racing Team? Like, just, I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's Brazil as well, guys. And before we go into qualifying again, and have a quick look at the track in question. Of course, the 4.3 kilometers, 2.6 mile circuit in length, 2 DRS zones, one down in towards turn number 1 as you break through the Senna S's, and of course in towards turn number 4, the Cida del Lago. But I can tell you right now, guys, we are not going to have to worry about that for Q1 in terms of the DRS, because the heavens have opened.
There isn't any.
Yes, I was about to say there isn't any. Yes, the heavens have opened, as I have been joined in the commentary box by a Piney Penguin. How are you doing, Piney?
I'm doing good. Sorry, I'm a little late. I was just tossing up whether or not do I jump in the comms booth or do I not. I was like, since I'm hosting, I might as well. And I also just noticed one of the Zero drivers has just left the session, so I'm gonna just quickly reinvite that guy. I think it was Justin I saw that just left.
Possibly. I did not catch it in my
he
screen,
just had server issues. So his teammate gets in and he gets booted. That's funny.
I mean, that is not good for Azuri Esports to be having these kind of issues. Of course, I was talking about the battles that were going on in the championship. Of course, 2 points separating Azuri and IRT for that wooden spoon. And of course, another 2 points separating All Elite Racing Team and Alien Motorsports for P7. Grand Effect Spec not being here tonight. A big opportunity for Legacy Racing to jump themselves into the top 5. And then, of course, mathematically, it is not impossible for Evolution Racing Team to overturn TF10 for P3, but considering the 29-point gap that the TF10 have, it is going to be very, very difficult for Evolution to overturn that.
And to tell you with Grand Spec, yeah, they've just closed. We got told literally about a couple of days ago that they closed and they will not be competing this final round. So I was sad to hear that, because apparently one of the managers has left to go join another team or something, or been like forced out. I don't know what's going on in the background for that team, but all I know is no managers, so it's just closed as far as I'm aware. It's a shame, but
yeah, absolutely. And of course, I mean, I didn't know that, and so I mean that is big news now for me to hear. We were just on board with Kevin Zumberg, who unfortunately invalidated through the Senna S's, as we look to jump on board with the next guy who is going to be on a flying lap. Jerome, of course, a favourite in the chat thus far with Soggy Gamer saying go Jerome at the start of the stream. We're on board with him right now as he comes up through Ferrajura and of course in towards the highly technical middle sector, where the elevation changes makes it very tricky on traction in the dry, never mind in these kind of conditions where it's light rain but the track doesn't really look absolutely damp out there.
No, it does not. But they're all on intermediate tires, so maybe it is too wet for those dry tires at the minute.
And of course we got a question in the chat saying why is the stream in 30 FPS. It shouldn't be in 30 FPS. I've been having this issue for a while where I set it to be in 60 FPS, but for some reason it keeps going back down to 30, and it's an issue that I'm not sure why it keeps happening, but it's something I'm definitely going to be looking into going forward, and especially in towards next season.
That's if we go next season. I'm trying to talk to the higher ups to see if I can run next season for both console and PC. But it's very hard when the owner of the league has gone incognito. So, but I am trying.
I'm sure he will be back, obviously, before
I
the
hope
season.
so, because because I was gonna say if he doesn't answer me, I'm just gonna run a season 6 anyway. Because I have Joey's approval, but I think I need Lau's approval realistically. But it's like I'm just having to to give Joey a ping to get him to see what's going on with Lars.
Well, we're seeing times coming in right now. Snack with a 16.6, top in the times right now in Q1. Knight in second place with a 17 flat. Then you got Cal Jagali in third. He's on a 17.1, and it's, of course, Caden in fourth on 17.1. Another 17.1 for Kevin Zumberg. Then, of course, Jerome in the pits from his 17.6, 17.8 for Venom. Then we're into the 18s with Ivan, Edward, Typical, Jules, and Crowden. And, of course, we got Pablo, who is on a 19.4.
Yeah, so I was watching Crowden. Man had a bit of a big slip coming out of the first corner as you get into sector 3. He had a bit of a slide on that exit, so that's why his lap is slow. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, and I just noticed there's 3 AMS drivers. I was like, oh yes, Knight's on a different team. He just hasn't removed the AMS from his name. Because I forget, it actually costs some money to change your name on Xbox and PlayStation, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. As of course, Knight now a part of Evolution Racing team, of course, teaming with Kevin Zumberg here tonight. And both of them hoping for a big result to try and get themselves into third, even though, in my opinion, it's almost going to be, you really need a DNF from one, if not both, TF10 drivers to overturn that point total.
It depends, because the 29 points is the gap between the pair of them. So if you got pole, fastest lap on a 1-2, that is 42 points.
Yeah, it's mathematically possible, but
it's still possible. But I think at minimum for TF10 to lose third, they would have to finish. Both of them would have to finish. I do some maths about 13. Yeah, I'll get back to it. I'll do some quick maths.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying at the top of the stream that obviously for TF10 to drop outside the top 3 in the championship, like they would have to have an all-time stinker here at Brazil, where I just don't see it happening, because like they've just been very consistent throughout the season. They've had some races where the results haven't gone their way, but it's never been like absolutely horrendous to the point where anyone's going to gain like that kind of points on them, apart from the likes of Shazoo and ET8. Benjamin, I did answer your question, mate, with the FPS on the stream. It has been set to 60 this entire season, but it keeps switching and that and going back and forth and that between 60 and 30. It's an issue that I don't know why it's happening, and it's something that I will be looking into fixing going into next season.
I know for a fact as well, if they do end up on the same amount of points, I think TF10 would keep third. Ooh. Only because they have a win. So I'd have to go back through the spreadsheet. So I know I see one result on the Discord showing that TF10 did win a race, and that was the Japanese Grand Prix when Ortiz won it for them. But other than that, I don't see any other thing about it. I'd have to look at the spreadsheet, because I know for a fact as well, Evolution Racing, the highest they've got is a podium. So, but yeah,
I think Kevin's racked up a couple of podiums now to himself over the course of the season, but it's just been a case where he's missed out on the race wins, and unfortunately it's the way it is. Like TF10, as we just see Jerome losing the car, coming through the middle sector, absolutely locking up the rears and losing that rear end, and that is not ideal. But these conditions are getting worse. Or are they? It looks like the rain stopped momentarily.
I might have stopped in some places, but I can still see rain. But it's just very light. Anyway, so after doing some quick maths, if Evolution Racing. So if Evolution Racing to take all 42 points, that's a big if. TF10 would have to score a minimum of 13. And like I said, I'm pretty sure TF10 has more podiums and wins than Evolution. So if TF10 get at best 7th and 8th minimum, I think they would keep. Sorry, not 7th and 8th. 8th, well, 9th and 10th technically. If TF10 can get 9th and 10th, that would be enough to give them the 3rd place. So obviously it's impossible for them to catch ETA, who's in 2nd, and obviously ETA can't catch Shazoo.
Yeah, of course the top 2 is absolutely solidified. Shazoo champions, of course, winning the championship back in Kota, and then of course ET8 with the result last week in Mexico, securing P2 in the championship. Is all down to the rest of the positions to be sorted out. As we're on board with Jerome, as he was 9 times up in the middle sector, across the line, goes up to P6, as we got Kalja now on a bit of a cooldown lap, I think. Yes, cooldown.
Yeah, well, Jerome just also got knocked down a place by a Pep for IRT. He's up into 6th. So it's very... It's like, I thought it'd be a lot closer than this, but hey ho.
I mean, the thing is, what you gotta remember is, of course, that it is tricky conditions out there. So, I mean, in the dry, I could imagine it being incredibly close. And there is possibility that it could get the dry, because it is... I mean, I'm looking at the track. The track looks pretty dry from my eyes. But obviously I can see like little droplets of rain coming off the camera, but not a huge amount of rain. And the big thing is, if it is dry at the end of the session, these guys that have set the quickest times on Indas, they're going to need to go out on a set of softs, because they cannot afford to lose out at the end of the session.
Yep, they cannot.
Right now, I mean, Snack's on provisional, Snack's on pole for Q1. Of course, we do the full qualifying session, so it's the top 15 that go through. But if Snack was to retire in the pits right now, then it goes to dry, and everyone chucks on a set of softs.
He's screwed.
Yeah, he's pretty much he's pretty much out at that point, unless we see multiple people getting invalidations, which is possible. But he would be hanging on by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting as well, because the one bad thing about the wets, you can't call off the dogs early. You have to keep going in this session, because like I say, the track can improve, but it can get worse. And if the track improves and you're still in the pits towards the end of the session, yeah.
I mean, the track is improving. Obviously, we're seeing that in terms of the lap times and that. The times are getting quicker. It's a case of, are the times getting quick enough that warrants a switch on to dries? I mean, we got 4.5 minutes remaining. If I'm the people in the pits right now, and obviously I say I'm Venom or Kevin Zumberg or Knight or Snack, for example, I mean, I'm potentially thinking about just chucking on a set of softs and then just gambling at the end of the session.
Anything can happen. Apparently as well, I've just been pinged on Discord saying somebody cannot see the stream. He said the video is unavailable after being fine the whole time, and I was like, what? How is it that happened?
I am not sure how that has happened.
I'm looking at the stream on my second monitor, and it looks fine for me. I was like, I'll keep an eye on it.
Is it 30 FPS for you as well?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so it's doing the thing for everyone then.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something we're definitely going to have to look at going into next season. But here comes Caden now to the line, and this is going to be a quick lap, and he's up into the 15s, a 15.9 from Caden. Absolutely fantastic for him and all elite racing team. His teammate Crowden all the way down in P11 right now. needs a big lap to end the session, and it looks like, I mean, just going through the exit, the center exits, it looks like it is raining. The droplets on track are more visible on board with crowding than they have been in on board with other people. So maybe it is going to be into the rest of the session.
You never know. It can change from quality to quality. Like I've seen it being raining in Q1, still a wet, damp track in Q2, then in Q3 it's been completely dry. I've also seen the exact opposite as well. But like I say, anything can happen with the rain.
Well, looking at the chart now real quick, we got Amy waving. Hello, Amy. How are you doing? We got Ward saying hi, Benjamin. And then, of course, we got Max saying we need more Kalja. And, of course, Kalja right now in P3 for Alien Motorsport. And, of course, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I mean,
yeah,
there's still plenty to fight for going down the rest of the field. Ivan just starting his lap. We're on board with Jules right now in our middle sector, and he's 4/10 up. Of course, if he crosses the line here, he will run out of fuel on the next lap, so he might decide to... No, he's going to cross the line. There's a minute and a half left. I thought we had more time left in the session than that. But here goes Jules across the line for Legacy Racing. He's up in the P15. He's on the bubble. So Ivan, Finley and Pablo, the guys in the drop zone. One of those, well, all three of them are going to be looking to get themselves out of it. Ivan, though, a 10th down in the first sector. Pablo up to P12 knocks Jules down, and there's going to be absolutely nothing that Jules can do here. Finley is on a out lap right now. Ivan has invalidated his lap. Oh, it is getting very tense out there on track right now for a few of the drivers out there.
Yeah, it definitely is. Which ain't so good.
Edward has decided that he is good for the remainder of the session. Of course, we have yellow flags in Sector 2, which is why I cannot see how much time we have left in the session at this moment in time. But here comes Pippin now towards the line, around about half a second up. Snack improves to 15.7. Surely he's going through. And what about Pippin now? And it's P4 for Pippin. Half a second improvement for him. Crowden improved. He's up in the P5. We got Kevin Zumberg on a lap. Venom half a second up in the middle sector as he climbs up the hill now. What will the Shazoo Cedar Igniters driver do here? Is he going to end it by topping the times? No, he's going to go P3 for now.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at Finlay. He's like 3/10 up in his first sector, but obviously he's in the middle sector, and I'm watching having a look at Typical as well. He's 3/10 up in the middle sector, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough. Obviously Pablo is done. He's P13, so he can easily be knocked out. And we've got Oxu, he's also on his lap too. Typical about across the line. Where's he gonna go? Up to 11th. I think he's okay. He's okay there. With just Finley left to come across the line.
Can Finley get himself up? Yes, he can. Up in the P10. So that's knocked Oxtu down in towards the drop zone. Middle sector split. He's a 10th.
He's on a lap.
He's a 10th up. He needs more in the final sector though if he wants to get ahead of Pablo here.
Oh, a bit of wobble there for him. That's not good.
I don't think the ET8 man is going to be able to see himself into Q2, but let's see as he crosses the line.
Find out.
No,
nope.
He does not.
Just misses out by half a tenth. He misses out.
That wobble on the end of Jun Chao. That wobble at the end of Jun Chao is what cost him a place in Q2.
That is unfortunate. But obviously, I don't think he honestly cares. Like E8's locked in the second, so it's more interesting that. So neither Evolution drivers got knocked out in Q1, and neither of the TF10 drivers got knocked out.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even though we have, well, actually, we'll run you through the order real quick, as it was just put in the chat then saying, Justin, what a lap indeed. He puts himself on the P3. So, Snack, Caden, Justin, Knight, Venom, Kalja, Kevin Zumberg, Sergio, Pevin, and then of course we got Crowden, Finley, Edward, Jerome, Typical, and Pablo all making it into Q2. Our 3 drivers that were knocked out in Q1 is of course Oxcu, Jules, and Ivan. And what I was going to say, I mean, Ivan being knocked out is big for that battle for the wooden spoon. A quick reminder of how that that is going real quick, as we'll just
they don't want to finish last.
Yep, again, quick little reminder, Azuri Esports 2 points ahead of IRT in that battle for 9th and 10th. And of course, we got All Elite Racing Team and Alien Motorsports both having good Q1s here tonight. They're battling for P7. Of course, Legacy, with the opportunity to get themselves into the top 5 with Ground Effect Spec Racing, obviously not putting the team out due to the team folding. I mean, one of the drivers are knocked out.
They score, yeah. With one driver already knocked out and the other one, as a typical, he's been racing for he's done most of the races all season for LR, and he's been very, very consistent. So we'll have to see what Typical can do here. I think this might an easy score, 13 or more points, pretty much by himself. But obviously, it would be nice if his teammate can get into the points as well.
I mean, we'll have to see, because obviously we've seen Typical have some great races. We've also seen Typical have some races where it hasn't gone his way and he's been down the order. So I mean, it could go either way. But LR, a big opportunity to get into P5. But with one of their drivers out in Q1, he's going to be sat there for an awful long time waiting for the rest of qualifying. And then he's going into the race pretty cold. And of course, Evolution and TF10, 29 points separating them. But I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's mathematically possible, but is it doable? That's going to be the big question. But let's go back to the action here in Q2 as we are underway. As we have our first driver on a outlap is going to be the Alien Motorsports driver of Edward. And of course, got through with a very good time in Q1. So let's see what he can do here in Q2. Will we see both Alien Motorsports drivers into Q3? As the rain, I mean, it is still slightly damp out there. But is it going to go dry in this session, or will it remain indoors the remainder? We see some drivers in the pit lane right now with a set of soft tyres on as we come through the centre S's with Edward looking for a good launch. Coming out of the centre S's now with what would be DRS wide open in dry conditions, heading down into Descida del Lago, turn number 4, third gear, the gear of choice, as we head up the hill now towards Ferrajula, and of course the double right hander here, 5th gear, trying to keep the car in a straight line as you try and rotate the car through and just carry the momentum as we head into the highly technical section of Sector 2, where the elevation changes will affect your traction coming out of the corner. Very easy to just bite a little bit too much on the throttle and then your back end completely goes. But now heading in towards Junchao as we go in, it's a 1 minute, almost a 1 minute flat from Edward. It's 9 thousandths of a second over a 1 minute flat, but up towards the line, it looks like he's just putting in a banker lap. No ERS really being used. An installation lap being set, and it's a 17.7. As there we go, crowding immediately into the 15, showing the evolution of the circuit. And we're going to see that continuation happen. Snack there with a 15.3 again, showing the evolution of the circuit. I think I said evolution earlier, which is of course not proper English, but it's okay. I'm Welsh, I can afford to not speak English. as here goes.
I was gonna say, don't start talking Welsh on me, bro.
I mean, I can't speak Welsh fluently, but I have started learning Welsh. So one day I'll start breaking out the Welsh.
Oh no.
The lone driver for ET8 right now in Sergio, coming through the middle sector now. Of course, saw his teammate take an exit in Q1, and yeah, the track is dry out there. The rain is not even coming down anymore, from what I'm seeing. Actually, it is a little bit. I've seen it on the halo just slightly, but these conditions gotta be so difficult for the drivers to really get their heads around, don't they?
Yep, certainly does.
As we jump on board with TF10's Jerome there, doing a bit of maintenance on the circuit, doing a bit of cutting some grass, which is fantastic. But of course, he was getting out of the way of the Alien Motorsports driver of, I believe that was, Kalja now coming up the hill, but he's 4 seconds down on his time, so he's not on a quick lap. Looks like Crowden potentially is going on a quick lap again as we come through Ferrajula. In fact, he might not be. We'll have to keep an eye on here, but he is 100% on his battery, which indicates that he's not on a push lap. He might just be trying to get a bit of confidence around the circuit, if that is the case. Sergio did get a lap time in, and he went up into P2. Soft tyres on for Snack in the pits, and of course we got Typical out there on a set of softs, and I'm going to stay on board with Typical here because we need to see how the soft tyres are going to perform. Big gamble here from Typical by me.
Yeah, if he's on the softs, yeah, it's a big gamble. Hopefully he's hoping it'll pay off, as obviously I see no more rain, so this is a gamble he's willing to take. So I don't think anyone else is really doing it. Oh no, people are starting to change onto the soft tyres in the pits, but nobody else is out on track with softs other than Typical.
Yeah, I think they are going to be watching Typical's lap with great interest and intent right now as we head towards the break-in for turn number 1. Ooh, a little bit sluggish through turn number 1. You can tell it's still a little bit damp, a little bit greasy right there for Typical, and he's not able to get the grip down that he wants at this moment in time. But let's just see how things are going to go. A 20.3 in the first sector, a couple of tenths off what you would normally expect from a pure dry condition. So it could be time for the dries, but we'll know more at the end of the middle sector split, where of course we're going to see how these soft tyres handle the middle sector. And you saw a little bit of a slide there, and again on the exit another little slide. It's very greasy out there on track, I think, right now for Typical, and obviously this is the gamble by going on the dries first, is you of course are rolling the dice on a track that might not be ready for the dries just yet. But he's gone around, he's not really pushed his ERS, and we're seeing the lap time is it's an 18.8 on the lap, but let's see what he can do now with ERS to play with.
Yeah, he's doing what some drivers typically do in PC, do a double outlap. But he's going to come across probably some traffic.
Yep, 19.2 in the first sector split, so a much quicker first sector, second up, which obviously right now puts him on a 17.6, and there's an invalidation.
Big wobble and invalidated.
Yep, I was about to say a big wobble there as he comes up through Ferrajula, and of course that is an invalidation right there. I believe Venom was the next one who was starting a flying lap on board with Venom, and he's kept it all valid now coming through through the middle sector. So let's see what he can do. The Suzuka Igniter's driver back end is trying to step out on him, and oh, as he absolutely frozen in. I thought the back end might have just gone a little bit on Venom's car, but it kind of helped him get through the corner as he has another big snap as we come through Zheng Xiao and now up the hill. But that's very
again, more wobbling.
yeah, very tail happy on the exit of Zheng Xiao as we climb up the hill now towards the line. It is going to be an improvement on what we've seen so far, maybe, but no, actually, it's a 15.8 as DRS has now been
enabled. Woohoo!
So now we're going to start to see lap times fly in as you're seeing the sun now begin to peek through the crowds.
Oh dear. IRT Pepin has had a small accident. Minor span round at turn 4 and has lost his wing. Well, he's back into the pits then.
Yeah, back into the pits for the IRT driver as we try to go on board with someone who's coming towards the line right now. Looks like Kevin Zumberg has invalidated on his lap, so we'll go on board with... I believe the next man across the line is Snack, so jump on board with Snack. He's a 10th up in the middle sector. More time to gain. In fact, no, he's in. He's in.
Finley's invalidated here. Zumberg started another run.
Looks like Kalsha is just going to come into the pits.
Jerome's not long started a lap. Pep's come to the wing.
I just go on board with Jerome, and he has absolutely done some World Rally Cross drifting there through Ferrajula. Not ideal in F1 cars. The wrong kind of motorsport technique right there for Jerome, but
he's not validated.
not ideal
for
him. Kevin Zumberg's still on a valid lap right now, so we'll stay on board with him, but it doesn't look like he's using his ERS that much.
Nah, he'll be coming into the pits. He's got no fuel.
Yeah, but we've got 3.5 minutes remaining in the session. A place in the top 10 shootout of Q3 is on the line. DRS has now been enabled. Everyone will be on the set of the soft compound tyres, and they are all going to be pushing to the absolute max to get themselves into Q3. Right now, Snack tops the times for TF10, but will it remain that way when we come to the end of Q2?
These Azura drivers are a bit close to each other. Yeah, as I'm not quite liking how close these Azura drivers are to each other.
I mean, Justin right now is of course behind his teammate. Looks like he's about to really push on this lap, perhaps, and.
Oh, they're both pushing. I think Justin's actually catching his teammate. Oh. Pablo is lagging all over the place, so that is not good. So that'll explain why he was struggling to get into the lobby. Connection issues. Can do that, as he's doing some Tokyo drifting through the middle sector. That's what I see when I spectate him. So yeah, his teammate is hard catch. Oh, and he's round.
Not ideal, of course. Yeah, that's his lap one done with. As we got Justin. Oh, losing the back end from it. Justin there, he was a second up in the middle sector, and the back end just snaps on him as he locks up the rears, going into Zheng Xiao. But he crosses the line. It's a 14.9, but there's definitely more time there. He does have time to back off, get his ERS back, and then go again for one final run.
To be fair, he's got about 80% ERS, so technically he can go again now. Like, you forget how quickly the battery can recharge in the middle sector because it's mostly corners. You only really need the battery. You only need your ERS for the first and last sector. Don't really need it in the middle.
You are not wrong there, of course.
From all this traffic. Oh no.
The train is I'm not going to lie, we have an absolute train going on in the middle sector, as everyone now is
Traffic
going to be backing
jam.
off to get themselves a little bit of space. Justin is closing in on this, and these guys need to be aware that Justin is on another flyer. As Justin comes through, and yes, the drivers, close! Coming in towards Jean Shao. Justin 6 times up on his previous lap time, but my god, how close was that in the middle sector? Justin, heart in mouth moment right there for him as he comes to the line. It's going to be an improvement, 13.7 for him, but the conditions are only going to get better and better.
Yeah, this is the problem with setting your lap too early. Like, both these Zero drivers could be at risk of being knocked out here in Q2. Like, when it swaps from rain to dry, you want to go out as late as possible so the last driver on the track will have the bigger advantage, which I do believe the last person to cross the line and start that lap is typical. But this is annoying. I see a couple of drivers very, very close to each other, and they should not be that close because they're going to get slipstream.
I mean, they are very close to each other. The issue that they have is that everyone came out at the same time, so they were all bunched up and they all had to get a lap in. So it's a case of they have to take the dirty air. And unfortunately, some drivers... typical!
Typical 5th place for collision with Pablo.
Snack does get the quickest lap in the end in Q.
Well, that's typical done. Typical's just out from the back.
Kalja up in the P2 as we got Sergio coming through. Venom up in the P2, and because we have Justin improving, we got Pippin up in the P4. Jerome up in the P2. Right now it's a TF10 1-2 here.
Sergio next. He's gonna go.
And there's quickest out of everyone here.
Yep.
So here comes Knight.
They're going just in. Caden's in, Knight's in, Edwards across the line. And that is done. Finley invalidated. Oh dear.
Well, Kevin Zumberg right now is breathing a sigh of relief as he ends the session in P10.
Yeah.
But Finley being out in Q2, big shock there. But let's run through the order. Once again, it is of course going into Q3. The top 10 shootout is going to be Sergio, Snack, Edward, Jerome, Venom, Knight, Kalja, Caden, Pippin, and of course Kevin Zumberg. The 5 drivers knocked out here in Q2 is of course Justin, Pablo, Crowden, Typical, and of course Finley, who was unable to get a lap in at the end. Unfortunately, Typical will have to have that 5th place grid drop, and he will be starting from the back of the field down in P18. So unfortunate for him, as we are going to see how he's going to cope, because now LR, that's going to be a big uphill battle now for LR. Both of the drivers down towards the back of the field, and they need to overturn the points with ground effect spec. But we're here now in Q3, 12 minutes in the session, a top 10 shootout, and it is dry, and all these drivers now, Biney, have plenty of soft compounds, fresh soft compound to play with. As we got more comments in the chat. Alexa saying Team Kalja Zali. I'm terrible when it comes to pronouncing names. I really am. We got Troy saying not a big shock, mate. I'm not sure what. Is he referred to Finley being out in Q2? I mean, I'd say it's a shock. Finley's a good driver. And then of course we got Galt F1 saying Kala Ali Goat. Of course, referring to the Alien Motorsports driver. Both Alien Motorsports drivers into Q3, and that was very good for the pair of the Alien Motorsports drivers. And of course, with only Caden here from All Elite Racing Team, is a big advantage for Alien Motorsports going into their battle for P7 in the championship with All Elite Racing Team. Of course, IRT with Pippin up there inside the top 10 as well, with the with both Azuri esports drivers now knocked out in Q2. Big opportunity for them, as well as we just go on board with Jerome's, who's back end stepping out on him as he comes from the center S's. I was going to say, obviously, IRT with a big opportunity now to try and jump up into P9 in the championship ahead of Azuri esports. 2 points separating those two teams, and likewise there's 2 points separating All Elite Racing Team and Alien Motorsport as well. Of course, Legacy Racing opportunity to get themselves up into P5. 13 points is the gap to Ground Effect Spec Racing, who of course no longer competing due to the team closing down, unfortunately, which is not ideal. But on board with Jerome now as he comes through middle sector split, and I just realized I did not have the delta or anything up, so my apologies to everyone there. But here we go now, Jerome now climbing up the hill towards the line. Are we going to see our first time in the sub 1 minute 10s? Yes, we are. It is a 109.2 from the TF10 driver. As Edward there for Alien Motorsports goes quicker up into the original pole, and go even quicker goes Snack. Caden there splitting Snack and Edward, as we got Pippin there losing the back end coming through Zhen Xiao, and that is unfortunately for him his lap over and done with. He will probably cross the line just to get a delta on the board. Actually no, he won't. He'll come straight back into the pit, so no delta there for him.
Yeah, sorry if I'm just being a bit quiet there, Michael. Just having to try and calm one of the managers of a team down, because they were very not happy with Pablo impeding his driver. So he was complaining in Discord saying, can we get a reset because Miro's got 5th place. I was like, drivers have had 5 places before, they've not complained about it. I think last time I was in a 5th place, I think Zuckerberg got it, and I think that was at Silverstone when he got his, and he didn't complain about it, and neither did his team. They just carried on with it. Beetle just started absolutely complaining about it, but I've sorted him out. So I say he's complaining because he can't get P5 now. His team's going to be P5 anyway, because GSR will be removed from the standings since their team has closed down. No reason for their team to realistically even be on the standings. So if
they would want to do it on points. I would imagine they would want to do it on points regardless. So
I have a lot of faith in Typical and Jules that they can actually get the 12 points. Because realistically, to get the 12 points, they need 9th and 10th. Which I think, even from their positions, I think 9th and 10th for the pair of them is not impossible. But yeah, I think they can easily get the points, but we'll have to wait and see. Apparently Pepper's left the session. I didn't even notice that. So I'll just get him back in.
Well, currently on board with Kevin Zumberg as he climbs up the hill through Ferrajula, keeping the car all within the white lines, making sure he does not pick up an invalidation right there, as we now head into turns number 8 in towards turn number 9 and 10, as we look for the run now through number 11 in towards turn number 12 at Zhengzhou. 51.9 middle sector as we climb up the hill now. Nothing to do but put your foot to the floor, use the battery, and get ready for the DRS to be opened up wide. Yes, it is. And now to the line will come Kevin Zumberg. Is it going to be provisional pole for right now? Yes, it is. It's a 1 minute 7.8 from the Evolution Racing Team driver. Remember, the battle between Evolution Racing Team and TF10 it's heavily against Evolution Racing Team as Venom goes even quicker, 7.2 from him. So we're seeing some very quick times now start to come in here now. Pioneers drivers are now getting accustomed to the dry circuit out there. Jerome just starting his lap. We got Sergio on a lap as well in the middle sector. So we're still on board with Sergio for the time being. But yeah, drivers now setting quicker and quicker lap times. The track is just ramping up now. We got about 5 minutes to go in the session. Obviously, I mean, as I was mentioning with the Evolution Racing Team TF10 battle, is very much in the favour of TF10. And with Snack driving the way he's been driving so far in Q1 and Q2, if that's translating over to the race, then Snack is going to be able to do enough to stave off any challenge from Evolution Racing Team by himself. Never mind with Jerome backing him up as well. As Jerome's unfortunately invalidated on his lap, we got Caden on a lap right now for All Elite Racing Team as he climbs up the hill to the line. He'll come. And it's a 1 minute 7 flat from Caden. Big lap time there. If we're going to see any improvements, it's going to be into the 1 minute 6s now for the drivers out there. If you want pole, a 1 minute 6 is needed. Guys, let me know in the chat right now. Who do you think will be on pole position? We've got 4 minutes remaining in the session. Who do we think is going to be on pole, and what do we think the pole position lap time is going to be? Let me know in the chat. I believe most of the drivers now, apart from those on the out lap, will probably be heading themselves back into the pits to put on a fresh set of boots to see out the end of the session. 3.5 minutes remaining here in Q3. Caden right now for All Elite Racing Team is on provisional pole right now, in place to pick up that pole position point. But Venom, Sergio, Kevin Zumberg all in the pits. We got Snack who's just come out on the out lap. We got Kalja, we got Edward in the pits. Jerome's just come into the pits himself, and then of course we got Pippin just starting his lap. Knight also in the pits, so we'll be seeing lap times coming in from IRT Pippin first, and then we'll be seeing a lap time come in from Snack. And of course, unfortunately for the IRT driver, he has invalidated through the center S's. So now all eyes on TF10 Snack, and we're going to go full screen. We're going to go full screen on this one. And we're going to see what the TF10 man is going to do here. As we begin the lap now, heading down in towards turn number 1, braking third gear, throwing the car through the center S's and looking for a good exit now on to the DRS straight. Heading down into the braking for turn number 4 to Cita de Lago as we break down 4 attempts up 16.9 first sector split, using the curb on the exit as well. The traction is good there for Snack, coming up the hill now towards Ferrajula, throwing the car in 6th gear, a bit of a lift going through through there, and then of course down in towards 3rd as we now are in the heart of the middle sector, now coming up in towards turn number 9 and in towards the hard braking zone at turn number 10. Looking for the run out of 11. Nice and tight on the curbing as we break down into Jianchao. 1.4 up in the middle sector. Nice and smooth coming out of Jianchao as we climb up the hill. No wheel spin there. No back end snapping for Snack. As he now, with DRS wide open, will cross the line. Is it going to be provisional pole? Yes it is. It's a 1 minute 6.5. For the TF10 man. Snack puts it up top. What a lap time from him, as now the gauntlet has been laid for everyone else out there. As we've got the IRT driver now coming to the line. What's it going to be for Pippin here as he comes to the line? So 7.2 gets himself up in towards P3 as Edward will be the next man. Well, actually, he's on a cooldown lap, so he's about to lead the pack underway here. I believe Venom and Caden up ahead on track, so they'll be the first ones to get lap times in at the end of the session, as everyone now tries to give themselves a little bit of space to work with. 25 seconds remaining here in qualifying, as we're going to see who's going to be taking pole position here in Brazil. The final race of the season is going to be Caden, the first man to cross the line, but you see the big snap at the rear. He's given up on his lap, and now it is all about Venom. What can Venom do for Shazoo Cedar Igniters? Middle sector split. Remember, 7 attempts is what Venom needs to put in a fight for pole position here, and he's got 4.5 attempts, so he's around about he's over halfway there. If he gets the run that he needs out of the shower all the way up to the line, he could maybe gain that time, but let's see what Venom can do, keeping it nice and tight to the line. It's P2, half a second up for him, as the next car to cross the line is going to be Edward. So we're going board with Edward up to P6. What about Kalja? To the line is a 7 flat up to P3 for Kalja. Kevin Zumberg up to P4. Sergio, we're on board with right now, as we see a lap time coming from Jerome. As I believe that was Knight going up the order, and then of course Sergio, where did he finish in the end? P4 for the ET8 man. Well, there we go. TF10 take the pole position point. The gap now 30 points between TF10 and Evolution Racing Team is pretty much all done and dusted here. But Snack will start from the front with Venom alongside Knight in P3 with Sergio in P4. Kalja in P5 with Kevin Zumberg in P6. Kate in P7 with Pippin in P8. Jerome in P9. And of course, Edward will be starting from P10 in this race. Big lap there from Snack. And of course, in terms of the standings, again, just a quick reminder of that. Obviously, there's a point for pole position, and TF10 got it. So the gap now is 30 points between the Evolution Racing Team and TF10. And it is still mathematically possible, just looking at the maximum points you can get remaining, but it is very improbable. It looks like TF10 might have just clinched the free in the standings right there. Very big point right there, I think. But
definitely, because what if I just do some quick maths? 12 the difference between if they get up. Sorry, no, it'll be less now. It'll be 11 points if they get the rest. The fastest lap and first and second is 41. So 11 points is the gap. So all TF10 really need to do in the race is finish at least higher than 11th and 10th.
I mean, if they finish 11th and 10th, I'm pretty sure. I mean, on count
they get 11.
They still, yeah,
they get 11 points total, which will. Even if
that's a 1-2 with the fastest lap, and which they'll need to.
Oh wait, completely... no, yeah, they don't need the fastest lap as well. They need to get 9th and 10th. You need 9th and 10th to basically say, sorry, Evolution. Third is ours.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Evolution would need a 1-2 finish with the fastest lap, and then would need both TF10 drivers to at least finish 11, outside the top 10, and I just don't see that happening at all here tonight. Obviously, the other battles to keep an eye on is, of course, All Elite Racing Team versus Alien Motorsport, Azuri Esports versus IRT as well. 2 points separating Azuri and IRT for that 10th place and 9th place, who does not want to finish bottom of the table. Alien Motorsport and All Elite Racing, they're not massively far ahead of Azuri and IRT, but I mean, is it going to be possible for that points to hold overturn? Is potential, but I think the battle for 7th is just going to be All Elite Racing Team and Alien Motorsport. Then the battle for the Wooden Spoon is going to be between Azuri and IRT. So it's going to be interesting. Both of those battles separated by 2 points. And of course, we've got Legacy Racing, 12 points behind Ground Effect Spec Racing, who of course have folded as a team, but they are currently 5th, 12 points ahead of Legacy Racing. So we're going to see if Legacy is going to be able to overturn that in terms of just pure points. So remember, what they're going to need is 13 points. So that is P9 and P10 in this race. Doable, I would say. Very doable.
Yeah. Anything can happen. Obviously, we got 36 laps of this magnificent Sao Paulo Grand Prix to come. Obviously, we'll just wait for drivers to change their setups, obviously, because they'll be going from wet setups to proper dry setups now. All the rest of them have got to sort out their strategy. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I see in the Discord people arguing: is it a 1-stop or is it a 2-stop? This is where, but like, if you can preserve the tires, a 1-stop is definitely doable, but you have to get to around lap 15, 16 on those mediums, which is a big ask. I tried doing it before, but I'm not as good as these guys, but I got to lap 15 before my tires popped. So these guys are a lot better than me that are driving, so they should easily make 15 laps.
Yeah, of course, a quick look at the track. Of course, the 4.3 kilometer, 2.6 mile circuit in length. 2 DRS zones, 1 down the South Finish Straight and 1 down the straight in towards turn number 4 to Cita del Lago. The Center S is going to provide very key areas in terms of the track limits as well. Keeping it within the track limits is going to be important for the drivers out there, because a 3-second time penalty can easily mount up around here. Weather, I mean, we saw in qualifying that it was raining. We do see some clouds, but I don't think there's any cause for concern right now for the drivers out there. Obviously, you mentioned the strategies. From my personal experience, I mean, I actually prefer driving on the hards on this track than on the mediums. I'm not gonna lie. To me, it just seems like a better race tire. I mean, everyone is free to disagree.
When I did this race, I never got to race on the hards because my tires popped when I was on the mediums. So I've now told the drivers to ready up. So I expect them to start readying up.
Well, I mean, I can say this. Obviously, when I drove around here, it was a mandatory 2-stop, so I had to do a 2-stop regardless. But I mean, from what I remember of that race, it was the hard tires did serve me better than the mediums did. But obviously, these guys much better at this game than what I am. They have much better pace and much better tire wear, and of course, saving their tires much better altogether. So it's going to be interesting to see if we are going to get any 1-stops. But here we go now to those 5 red lights for the final time this season. It is 5 red lights out, and we are underway here, and it looks like a very good start from Snack as he makes sure he's into turn 1 first, and job done for him. Meanwhile, in the midfield, we're seeing some side-by-side action with Caden and Kevin Zumberg side-by-side through the center S's, and they're still side-by-side heading down in towards the Cita del Lago.
Yeah, there's a spinner at the back. One of the Zero drivers was facing the wrong direction, so that's unfortunate for him. As the other one's just gone completely off the track as well. Well then, that is not a good start for Zero. Both the drivers gone right through the back.
Yep, not good at all for the Azuri Esports drivers, and with IRT currently in P8 and P16, both of their drivers ahead, as we're seeing Edwards and Crowden battling out as well, on board with Finley now as we have a little look at that battle. Looks like Edward holding his ground ahead of Crowden. Remember, this is an important battle between Edward and Crowden in terms of the battle for P7 in the championship, as we are now going to be seeing everyone begin to calm down slightly, I'm going to say.
This is interesting. every driver has opted for a medium start, except for IRT Ivan, who is the only driver on the hards. So this will be interesting to see.
Oh, look at that, as Edward gets a pretty slow run out of the seat of the Lago. That's going to open the door there for Crowden. He had his nose on the inside but could not find a way through. He's going to try and outbrake the McLaren down the inside. A little bit of contact between the pair of them as they are still side by side now, coming through the heart of the middle sector, through turns 8 now in towards 9 and 10. And it's going to be Crowden down the inside, and Finley's getting involved as well. Finley having a little good look at this as well. Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari scrapping it out. Stuff we absolutely would love to see in real life, Formula 1, as well as in the virtual world. But this battling is beginning to build a little bit of a gap between Crowden and Jerome. But Edwards looking to try and come back here as he's going to try and outbrake and have a look down the inside, and he's got half of his car alongside, but not going to be able to do it. And Finley there was on the inside as well, trying to navigate his way through. Also, as now DRS has been broken, and look at this free wide going down to the seat of the Lago, and Edward backs out there as we got Finley trying to hold it around the outside of Crowden. And that's opened the door now for Edward to come back at him. This is a fantastic battle for P10 in this race. And right now, if you are the legacy racing drivers of Typical and Jules, you're absolutely hating this right now because they need both drivers inside the top 10. And right now, Crowden is 1.3 off the back of Jerome in P9, and the field has split. As DRS is going to be very difficult now for Crowden to defend from, as Finley's going to look to push home the advantage before DRS is even activated on his car, and he's through up into P10. And we're going to see if Edwards potentially can get close enough. No, he cannot, but now coming through the center S's, Crowden will have DRS to come back at Finley here, but Finley's going to try and hold on as we got Pablo off at Zhengzhou, and here goes Crowden down the inside of Finley, as Finley a lovely little switchback and a little bit of contact there, and that's bumped Crowden down to P13, but a lovely switchback there from Finley.
Yeah, very awesome there from Finley. And Pablo's also left the session, so I'll have to... Oh, I don't have him added, so that's not going to help.
Well, up towards the front, I mean, Snack has done a fantastic job at the start of this race, as Venom is keeping with him, Sergio as well, and Kalja up in the P4, and then of course we got both the Evolution Racing Team drivers in Knight and Kevin Zumberg, Linus Stern in 5th and 6th, Caden for All Elite Racing Team in 7th, then of course we got IRT's Pippin in 8th, and then of course we got Jerome, the second of the TF10 drivers, in 9th, as we got Edward Finley battling out for
fighting
P10.
Over 10th again. Yep, fighting over 10th again, these two.
Well, I mean,
yeah, they don't want to fight too hard, really. They should just be using the DRS to swap and to catch back up to the rest of the field, because that's what they need to do, but they're just not.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? So, I mean, the gap's already 3 seconds, so the battle in between Edward, Finley and Crowden has really put all the drivers behind 10th now at a real disadvantage here, because now, I mean, 3 seconds, unless there's any penalties up ahead, is a big gap to try and close down. They got to start thinking of alternative strategies now, like maybe going for the undercuts. What lap to get the undercut? How are you gonna perform on your in lap and your out lap? That's going to be going for the heads now of all these drivers, and it's a very techie situation. As it looks like Edward is trying his best to break away from Finley. The gap was momentarily at a second, but if Edward can get away from Finley and do his best to try and close up on Jerome, I mean, maybe Edward can get himself in a bit of no man's land in P10, but by burning the battery, he's going to be in a horrible situation come a few laps time where he won't have the ERS to defend, as it looks like a safety car has been deployed. I mean, we saw crowding go slow and go down the order, but a safety car has been deployed here on lap 6.
And Pablo.
And that's a front wing gone. That's why. There we go. Crowding lost his front wing. So there we see why the safety car has been deployed. Is it on the exit of...
Yeah, this will be interesting now to see if any driver decides to pit. We'll have to see. And can somebody from Missouri tell Justin if his teammates reconnect or not? Because Pablo's in the middle of the pack.
Okay, so what I just saw there was Venom trying to sell the dummy to the drivers in behind about coming into the pits, but Sergio, Sergio has dove in, and that's obviously led to everyone else diving in. Kalja, Venom, and Slack all staying out there on the set of the mediums, and everyone else is diving into the pits for a set of the hard compound tires.
Yeah, so this will be interesting. So both the Evolution drivers pitted and one of the TF10 drivers pitted, so also they'll be all going on to the hards. Yeah, they're all, pretty much all the hards.
I mean, what this is right now is a big sigh of relief for the likes of Edward, Finley, Oxtrew, typical Ivan, Crowden. It's going to be a big relief for those guys because now they're back in the train.
Yeah, they'll be definitely back in the train, so it's very good for them. So obviously, this is what they wanted, but obviously for Snack, Venom, Killjag, this is not gonna help them at all. So
I mean, we'll have to see what the strategy is going to be like for the top 3 now. Obviously, 6 laps on the mediums. I mean, they're not going to be completely dead at this point, the mediums, but they are going to start to feel slightly second-hand. Usually around lap, I want to say lap 8, you really start to feel like the weight begin to come into those mediums. I mean, at least on my personal experience anyway, but as I said, I'm nowhere near as good as these guys, so yeah, let's say like around lap 10 for these guys.
Yeah, but I still think all these guys that pitted from hards, I think they're all gonna have to pit again anyway, which I think is kind of bad actually. Like, if I was as good as these guys, I think I would have ignored going in the pits. I would have done what the front 3 are doing here with Snack, Venom, and Cal. I would have followed them, just stay out. Because obviously now, because we're going to be behind safety car for at least another lap while the rest of the field catch up. So the safety car will probably be in at the end of lap 9, so we'll go back race on lap 10. The safety car come out lap 10. So that's like 3 laps behind safety car, so that's what... That's going to affect the wear a little bit, not as much obviously, it's going full throttle. So this
is my viewpoint on it. Obviously, like from what you're saying is you kind of think everyone should have stuck with what the top 3 are doing. Obviously, if the top 3 are going for the 1 stop, their tyres are going to be very warm by the end of this race. So, I mean, if you're Sergio, you've got the better tyres right now. So, if you can get through on the top 3, build yourself a little gap before the top 3 come into the pits. The tyre wear difference between those, the hard, are going to be... It's going to be, depending on how long they stay out, let's say they go to lap 15, they're probably going to have about 15... At most, I'm going to say around about 15% on their tyres. Maybe, could be more, could be less, depending on how good they are with their tyre wear. But, I mean, the gap between the hards and these old mediums, by the time these mediums come into the pit, is going to be absolutely drastic. And then these guys will have the opportunity to pit and put on fresh mediums towards the end, or even fresh softs towards the end, and they're just going to be absolutely rapid at the end versus the worn hards at the end. That would be my thing. Like, obviously, I think it could go either way in terms of the strategy, which one will work. But I don't think it's a case of these guys should have done what the top 3 are doing. I think the top three, they have a good strategy in hand right now.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see who it pays off better for. So obviously, still a long way in this race to go. But like, I still think everyone's going to pay again. So we'll have to see what happens.
That we will. Of course, the big issue for Sergio is the fact that he does have the lap car of Pablo in between himself and Kalja, and of course, with Pablo not being in the session right now, at least to my knowledge, I don't think he's in the session. It means
No,
that
he's not. Like, he doesn't have me added, so I can't get him back in.
yeah, I mean, it
Like,
means
he
that
had me added,
Sergio cannot overtake Pablo until the start finish line. So these guys could go and already build themselves a decent gap to yeah, because like here we go. I mean, Sergio, he's gonna have to give that place back. I think Knight and Sergio are gonna have to get that place back to Pablo. And yeah, you see Knight is dropping back through. Knight is trying to get that place back to Pablo. Sergio a 10-second time penalty. And Knight's race has absolutely gone to pot right now because he's overtaken the AI of Pablo. And Caden's also got himself a time penalty. Was that a 10-second for Caden as well?
I'll have a look. Because if I'm being brutally honest, yeah, it's also for ignoring yellow flags, both of them 10. The annoying thing is that if they pit again, they'll have to serve that 10 seconds, so there's nothing I can do. Because it kind of is a bit unfair, because freaking Pablo has like disconnected.
But this is why I was saying at the safety car restart, like they have to make sure they don't overtake, and they decide to overtake, and there we go. Caden's in the pits, he's retired. Like, I mean, the drivers know obviously that they were going to get the warning and that for illegal overtake and that before the start finish line. It's one of those things they kind of just have to allow the top three to get a gap. And there goes Sergio, because you can see the grip difference. Look at Sergio already. He's putting those hards to good use. He's making moves.
Yeah, as I say, Sergio doesn't really care about that 10 seconds. Like ETA, like I said, doesn't actually care about that penalty. Like, understandable that Caden's given up, because that is really annoying. Because obviously he has to serve that 10 seconds in the pits, and then obviously Knight with the same. Like I've already got Evolution complaining at me anyway, so there's not much I can really do here.
I mean, here's the thing, right? So if I'm Evolution Racing Team, right? You know, at the end of the day, you just got to abide by the rules of the game. Like obviously you've gone for the overtake before the start finish line. Like obviously everyone is wise enough to know that if you do that, you're going to get an illegal overtake. You kind of just have to allow the drivers to have that gap. And look at Pippin, for example. He did not overtake the ghost car, and he's already back in this train. Like, I mean, you would have lost maybe a second or so just waiting a little bit longer to overtake Pablo's AI. It's one of those things where you just have to kind of bite the bullet on that one, so to speak.
Yeah, it is, but right. If they got the penalty, and obviously if they could have made the end of the race on those set tires, but unfortunately in this situation because safety car came out so early, it is almost impossible. But honestly, I wouldn't have. If I was Caden, I would not have given up. I would have carried on going and just hoped for another safety car to show up. Because if another safety car showed up, then you would be fine. And here's Sergio going for the lead of the race.
Yeah, Sergio going through, same with Pippin on Kalja as well. Double overtakes going on with the hard compound tyres coming into play now versus these worn mediums. Obviously, Sergio, that 10-second time penalty looming over his head. But he's now in the race lead. Can he build the gap, because now Pippin's got himself ahead of Venom as well. So Pippin now up in the P3 on those hards. He's still got Snack to get through. If Sergio can break the 1 second window and get himself a decent bit ahead to the point where Pippin's actually lost the back end coming through Ferrazula and lost a lot of time there to Snack. And Venom, honestly, must have been eyes as wide as dinner plates for Venom there. I can absolutely assure you of that. But you see it now. Look at the hard compounds versus these warm mediums. 1.4 the gap. And continuously going as we got Finley and Edward battling out for P7 in this race. All school in P9. Typical for LR's got himself up in the P10. So he's up the order. Of course, Evolution Racing Team, I mean, it was a big opportunity for them to maybe try to mount some form of fight for P3, but I mean, 30 points it was always going to be unlikely, even without the situation with Pablo. As there's the switcheroo from Edward and Kalja there. So Edward now up in the P6, Kalja down to P7. Alien Motorsports working together as a unit. Both of those drivers ahead of their rivals in terms of All Elite Racing Team, with Caden out of this race now and crowding all the way down in P13. As Finley, a very opportunistic move there down the inside. I did not see that coming, but Finley gets the position right there, as smooth as you like, taking advantage of the lack of tyre as we got Typical and Oscar battling out side by side. Still side by side they go as we head in towards Zhengzhou, as it looks like Typical's going to settle in behind the ET8 man for the time being. Kevin Zumberg we're on board with right now, looking at this battle. Of course we got Kalja on those worn medium compound tyres, and yet he's into the pit. So there is the medium runners going into the pits. There's one of the medium runners going into the pits as Snack and Venom are still going on in this race. And Jerome now up in the P4. So TF10 find themselves in a very, very good spot. I mean, Jerome right now is in a net P2 in this race.
Yeah. But obviously he will have to pit again at some point. I wouldn't count this race as over. We're not even halfway through yet. Like, there could be another safety car at some point. So anything can happen. You just have to wait and see.
I mean, anything can happen. Of course, we got these guys on the worn medium tires. It's very easy for you to misjudge your braking and chip a little bit of front wing off, and then you end up causing like a big split in the pack. Sergio right now with that 10-second time penalty, yes, he's going to be like feeling the pain of that when he comes into the pits. But let's say Venom, of course, stayed out a bit longer, and let's say Oxlu or Typical outbroke themselves, knocked a bit of their front wing off. It's going to cause a split in this train and behind, and that's going to allow Sergio with his 10 seconds to maybe slot in into that kind of gap between Oxlu or Typical, if that did happen. But I think everyone's got through with no damage on their front wing. But Sergio, after getting through the medium runners, has a 3-second lead. Pippin has 1.5 seconds to Jerome, and Jerome now has the train directly behind him. Knight, after trying to get that position back to Pablo, he did manage to do it, so he does not have the 10-second time penalty, but he's down in P11 in this race, so it's gone horribly wrong for him. On board with Edward now for Alien Motorsports, trying to get themselves into a position where they could possibly sneak a podium in this race. As we got Kalja and Venom about to do battle for P14. And then of course we got Snack, who's a second and a half up the road from them, trying his best to close in on the legs of Jules Knight. And Knight is into the pits as well. 10-second there for Knight, and Knight's retired from the session.
Yeah, he's not happy about that at all. One of his team manager is absolutely crying about it in the CTC server. saying that the ghosted car of Pablo just slammed on his brakes apparently as soon as the ETA driver overtook him. So...
I mean, here's the thing, right? So, I mean, like, we all know what happens with the AIs when it does happen like that. We all know what happens, right? As soon as the AI has blue flags, they slam on the brake. The AI was always going to slam on the brake regardless. And that's the issue that everyone would have. Like, you know, if you overtook the AI, it was going to be so difficult for you to get the AI to re-overtake you, because the AI will not overtake you when it has blue flags. Like, that's just a fact. You have to drive off track for it to overtake you. And that is the risk you run when you try and overtake an AI ghosted car. Like, you can't do it. You were better off just taking the 1 second time loss and out of the top 3 and then gaining it back on the next 2 laps rather than pushing to overtake the AI immediately. And I will stand true on that. You were much better off doing that than rushing the overtake on the AI.
Yep, you definitely was. I will say, but yep, it happens. Like, the other thing that also could have happened as well, the top 3 could have even like got off the track out of the way of the ghosted car as well. But yeah, a mixture of things could have happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why what's called Evolution Racing Team would be upset by it, and I would understand as well if Sergio was upset by it, as well as obviously Caden. But at the end of the day, the simple way to avoid that was to not overtake the car before the start finish line. That was the simple thing to do. Yes, you're going to lose a bit of time to the top 3, but you got the better tyres. You're going to catch them back up, and we saw how quickly the hard runners did close up to him. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, no.
Yeah.
But either way, lap 19 of 36. And we have Sergio still leading the way. He's got 4.3 seconds to Pippin in second place, who has got Jerome on the back of him now. As Edward, Finley, Ostro, Typical, Kevin Zumberg, Ivan and Crowden all in this train. We got Jules, who is down in P11 and really struggling. Safety car has been deployed. And that is Justin.
All day. Never retire early. Learn that lesson. I've said it before and I will say it again. Literally, I was right earlier when I said a second safety car might come out. Never call the dogs off early. A second safety car can save your race. But unfortunately for Evolution Racing, one driver has retired, Knight's out of this race, and unlucky, now your drivers won't, you can't get third now. Because it is literally mathematically impossible for him to get it now with just one driver left. And I'm pretty sure Zuckerberg is also having his wing change too. So,
what's called Kappa's just put in the chat right now and asked to check increase. Do we have increased safety car?
We should not. It should be on reduced.
Well, while we are under safety car, I will just double check.
No, I'm just checking it right now. I'm checking it right now. So yeah, it's on reduced. Safety car is on reduced. So, but I think it was this time the second one came out. What was
it's on reduced.
Zuckerberg. Like Zuckerberg, I think had a front wing change. I'm gonna have a quicker look at the pit stops.
There you go, Kappa. It is on reduced right there, mate. So you can see, safety car is on reduced.
Yeah, so Zuckerberg was stopped for wing damage. And holy crap, what is this pit stop by Alpine? 1.885. Never mind, there was one even faster. 1.566. That's faster in real life. Excuse me. Excuse me? What the frick? I've never seen a pit stop that fast. What the heck?
You just gotta be quick on the sticks, mate. That's all you gotta do. You gotta be quick on the sticks with it. Like, you know, I mean... Let's go. Obviously, like, you know, the drivers. ET8 have got to be quick on the stick side if they obviously they're getting all that. Venom's got a 10-second time penalty for some reason. I just saw that pop up.
Like, one yellow flags. Oh, it's because he's going into the pits. And Crowlin has left the session. Oh dear. Let's get an invite out to Crowlin very quickly. This person I definitely do have added, so we'll just get you back in, Crowlin, when I find the T. There he is. Get him back in. So yeah, I think Venom got the 10 seconds because he was overtaken. He was speeding into the pit, so he overtook somebody, and the game was like, yeah, nah. Not allowed.
That is unfortunate right there. Can we increase the FPS on the stream, please, thanks? I don't think I can do it while I'm midstream. Like, in my settings...
You'd literally have to stop stream and start again.
Yeah, well, in my settings, it says, what's called, like, I'm outputting in 60 FPS, but for some reason, the stream keeps going to 30. It's an issue which has happened a few times this season, and it's something that I'm going to be looking into going into next season. Of course, I'm not really going to do too much right now because it is the last race of the season, but next season onwards, it will be sorted, and we'll have the 60 FPS, and because I think as well, I mean, someone let me know, as it reverted back to 720 as well. Like, let me know, because that shouldn't be happening either.
Yes.
It has reverted back to 720, even though I put it on 1080.
Well, yeah, because I was looking at the stream last week, and the highest resolution I could get down was 720. Because like when I do it, I can get 1080p and I have 60 FPS. So there's something must be different between your settings and my settings for you to be on 30. So
yeah, I mean, what's called, like, my output's meant to be 1080 60 FPS, but for some reason it's not.
Yeah, we'll try and get that sorted for next season.
Yeah, it's just a case it keeps resetting for some reason.
Yeah,
Venom, of course, he came into the pits and what's called, he put on a set of sauce, and then he's chucked on a set of the mediums, because obviously he wants the safety car to stay out as long as possible so he can take his mediums to the end of the race with no issues.
Yep. Because if they catch up before the safety car gets to the start of the first sector, then we will get racing at the end of this lap. If they don't, then it'll be next lap. But
I think it'll be this lap.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll soon find out if we get the message.
Right,
we'll find
where's
out
Pablo's car?
Now. There we go.
Okay, Pablo's car is behind Jules, I believe. So, Kalja, Justin, Jerome, Venom, make sure you do not overtake Pablo before the start-finish line.
Where is Pablo?
Because like that's I'm on board with Kalja right now. I mean, it's one of those things where he's just gonna have to bite the bullet by here to avoid the 10-second. But if he's going to the end, he could get removed.
Yeah, at this point they'll all be going to the end. I do like what he's trying to do here, but like he's gonna get the 10 seconds, so he needs to back off. All the other drivers are gonna go flying past him.
Oh, it's absolute contact. It's absolute.
Yeah, as Justin and Venom are collisions. And there's Cal's 10 seconds. And same with Jerome. Yeah, if Joe's
gone off track for some reason.
Yeah, so if TF10 and AMS want to report that after with Race Director, if they don't pit to serve, these ones can be removed. Because at this point, because both of them are on hards, they shouldn't need to pit again. So they should be okay to race fully. Just they'll need to report it after. Their teams have to report it after to have that 10 seconds removed.
Zumberg around the outside of Ivan in the Junshao, but the move has not been completed for him, so he's going to have to tuck back into the slipstream. Try and use a bit of ERS, close back up to maybe have a look down the inside, and yet here goes Kevin Zumberg down the inside of Ivan. Ivan's going to try to hold it around the outside, which will turn to the inside for the second part of the corner. But can Kevin Zumberg hold it on the outside? A little bit of contact there.
What's going on?
There goes Jules trying now with DRS and the overspeed. He's going to get the move down on Kevin Zumberg. Kevin Zumberg's going to try and hold it on the inside. And Jules has just outbroken himself and gone into the back of Ivan there. So that could be wing damage for the Red Bull. Kalja will have to be very aware now.
It's only the end. It's only the end plate. The end plate is not that bad. So, obviously as well, I'm just looking at this right now. With Typical in 5th right now, that's 11 points. If Jules can finish 14th or higher, and there's your 12 points LR to get above the now disbanded GSR.
Yeah, and of course, IRT right now. I mean, they got Pippin up in 1st, and of course Ivan there in 8th. They right now are definitely doing enough to make sure they don't get the wooden spoon, which it looks like it's going the way of Azuri, as it looks like Sergio and Venom have both come into the pits and retired from the session. Shazoo and ET8 there. Unfortunate, I think.
Yeah, well, because as they with Pablo not being connected, I am not going to classify him at the end of the race. So, just going to point that out, because since his car's been driven by AI for pretty much the entire race, he will not be counted in our classification. So, sorry, Azurai. I should fix your driver's internet issues. So I think, so realistically, so even if Jules pits to get that wing damage fixed, he'll finish 13th anyway, so he'll be fine. So LR will go get her of GSR. But yeah. So I found out why Crowlin disconnected, Michael.
Go on.
Apparently his Xbox turned off. Don't know how his Xbox is just randomly turned off mid-session, but it did. That's funny. How on earth does that happen?
Well, I can only assume he's got the voice activation on, like obviously for the Xbox, and maybe he's in a party and someone has said Xbox turn off and it's disconnected. And maybe.
Ooh, that's big. Zumberg with the 3 seconds.
I tell you what, I mean, I'm interested in seeing what the math is right now between All Elite Racing Team and IRT, because the gap I think is what, 14 points right now. I mean, going into tonight's race. Well, Pippin in the race lead, IRT and All Elite Racing.
Well, All Elite Racing is 17 points ahead of IRT. And right now, Crowlin is the only driver left, and he is in 6th, which is 10 points. So Crowlin by himself is doing enough so All Elite Racing does not get overtaken by IRT.
Are you sure? Because IRT right now, Pippin's up in 1st, so he's got 12 points, more than what Crowlin's got there. And then Ivan's in 9th. Which is essentially a P8 with Kevin Zumberg's 3 second.
Yeah, so that'll be 8 points. So yeah, Crowlin would need to gain another place if he doesn't want All Elite to finish up behind IRT, who have actually surprised me. They've only done, this is what, they joined us in round 8. So they've only done like 4 races, and they've scored this many points. Like, that's impressive. Imagine if IRT had the whole season. Like, they've done 5 races. Like, imagine if they had the entire season. They might have scored more than what they have done. But
possibly. Let's go. We have Pippin, of course, is still ahead of TF10's Snack right now. Jerome, obviously, for TF10 all the way down in P13. Obviously, with Evolution Racing Team's night out the session, Kevin Zumberg with a 3 second down in 8th place. It's looking absolutely certain TF10 is going to secure P3 in the championship. And I mean, there's no way around it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alien
it's sad.
Motorsport, they look like they're on course to secure P7 with Edward up in P3 and Kalja in P10. So they look on course for P7 in the championship. But
Yep.
IRT with a possibility of jumping ahead of All Elite Racing Team. It looks like Azuri's going to finish down at the back. They're going to get the wooden spoon, unfortunately for them. IRT could jump from last to 8th in the standings by the end of this race. And then, of course, you have Typical and Jules for LR looking like they're doing enough right now to potentially get themselves ahead of Legacy, which is what their goal was coming into tonight's race.
You mean GSR?
Yeah,
they are Legacy.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, it's been a long night and my brain's going now. We've had everything. We've had everything.
Yeah. Erase, reboot. Yeah, mine's gone elsewhere.
I'll tell you what though, if Finley does lose out to DRS of the guys up ahead, which he's bordering that 1 second window right now. If he loses out, a big opportunity opens up for Crowden to keep a hold of P8 for All Elite Racing Team. And now Ivan has dropped out of DRS range on Kevin Zumberg as well. Can Kevin build the gap that he needs? Because right now the hards should be a bit better than the mediums. So it's not over for All Elite and IRT right at this moment in time. Of course, you got Snack, who is just hanging on to the back of Pippin, so we could be seeing that overtake happen soon as Kevin Zumberg gets through on Ox2. Unfortunately, we did miss that one. I didn't expect the overtake to happen there between those two, but Kevin Zumberg now up into P7 ahead of Ox2 in P8. Ivan has depleted his entire battery to try and close up, but he's not got in that 1 second window, which is unfortunate for him, and he's just going to fall further and further behind. I mean, the gap between Kevin Zumberg and Ivan now is one and a half, nearly 2 seconds. Crowden taking a very wide line coming through turn number 10 now, coming through 11 in towards Jun Chao now. Kevin Zumberg on a late charge here, trying to get himself up the order as best as possible. Of course, a 3 second time penalty looming over his head. He's using his ERS to try and get himself in position to maybe go for an overtake on Crowden, and he's going to absolutely send it, and he just about gets the car slowed down. That is a lunge right there from Kevin Zumberg, and he gets the car slowed down enough to make the corner, the apex, without running too deep to put Crowden offline, and that is not good for Crowden, because now, I mean, Kevin Zumberg has depleted his entire battery and he's already outside the 1 second window.
Yes, that is really not good at all.
You got also the MP8 just holding on to the back of this train as well. He's trying to make sure he can pick himself up a couple of points at the end of tonight's race. Of course, his teammate Sergio came into the pits and retired. Same with Venom for Shazoo. Finley right now up in P4. Could it be a podium to wrap off the season for the champions in Shazoo Cedar Igniters? I mean, it is possible. Edward right now for Alien Motorsport. And I think, I mean, someone's going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this would be the first podium they've had since the start of the season.
Wait, who's this?
Alien Motorsport.
Yeah, I'd have to go back through the thing to have a look.
Because of course there was big controversy at the start of the season with Alien Motorsport with one of their drivers not being what's called the driver driving at the start of the season, and of course the points got removed. And I don't think since that point they've been on the podium.
That was Bravo Racing Team. That was Bravo Racing Team.
Oh, that was Bravo, was it? Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I think
they long dropped out ages ago.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's Bravo. My bad.
Yeah, Ground Effect Spec Racing replaced them.
I'm pretty sure though, Alien Motorsport did have a podium at the start of the season though. Positive they've had a podium at least once this season.
Yeah, I'd have to go back through it to have a look.
Either that, I'm just getting Bravo and Alien Motorsport confused. I think some of the drivers definitely battled each other quite a bit, and maybe that's why I'm getting confused.
Yeah, I'll go.
As Ivan's been overtaken by Kalja for P9, so Ivan's tyres are falling away. He's dropped out the 3-second window of Kevin Zumberg, and now Kalja ahead of him. I mean, these tyres are only going to get worse and worse for Ivan. Is there a possibility that Ivan finishes this race down in P10? Potentially, and that, I think, isn't enough for them to jump All Elite Racing Team. We'll have to see. I mean, Kevin Zumberg is going to send, again, a big lunge from deep on Typical here, but Typical does defend from Kevin Zumberg.
I can tell you now, Alien Motorsport do not have a podium.
Okay, right, I was just getting confused with Bravo then.
The highest Alien Motorsport finished by
Crowden's disconnected! Crowden's disconnected from the session!
Oh no, not again. Yeah, highest I can see Alien Motorsport getting was 5th place, and that was at the very first race.
Ah, okay, so I'm guessing that's what I'm alluding to then. Because I know they had a good race at the start of the season. And maybe I was thinking that, that they got a podium at like the first opening round or something.
No.
Yeah.
Most teams on the have been up. Like the teams
I know
have been
Shazoo
on the
and
podium
ETA have absolutely dominated the podiums and everything.
Yeah,
like.
Shazoo, ETA, and TF10 are the ones been dominating.
And there
the
goes
podium.
Snack for the race lead. Pippin does defend from the TF10 man, and will this be a season capped off for TF10 with a race win, or will it be going the way of IRT, or can Alien Motorsports seal a first win with the first podium of their season to cap off their final run?
Killjack just picked up 3 seconds for track limits.
Ooh. Okay, that's going to be interesting, because obviously it's 10 seconds he can put in to get removed, but the 3 seconds is going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to build that gap. As we're about to go on to the final lap of the race, Pippin for IRT still leading the way. Snack in P2 with the oldest tyres of these guys in the train at the front. He needs to have a good run here out of Junshao, and he has had a good run, but does he have the ERS to try and close in enough on the IRT man? DRS wide open now. He is closing in, he is gaining, but is he going to have enough of a run to go for the move? No, he has to sit in behind Pippin for the center S's, and then he's going to line it up now to go for a move in towards the Cedar de Lago, but he does not get the run that he needs out of the center S's, and he is going to close up, but I don't think he's going to be close enough here. So now it's all going to be about the run out of Junshao up towards the start-finish line for Snack. Can IRT pull off a absolute worldie of a win here? The top 3 are all similar on ERS. Finley actually has more ERS to play with than the rest of the top 3. So Finley could potentially snag himself a podium here at the end. Typical a little bit far back, I think, to try and get anything done here. But one more time, we're going to come through in towards Junshao. is going to be Pippin leading the way, but will he be remaining in the race lead coming up towards the line? Let's find out as we climb up the hill for the final time here in CTC's Console Championship. We're going to seal it off. It's going to be IRT Pippin with the race win ahead of Snack in second place. Alien Motorsports Edward completing the podium. Finley in P4, Typical P5, Osku P6, Kevin Zumberg P7. And then we have Ivan in P8, Crowden as Ghost crosses the line in P9. Jules will get P10 due to the 10-second time penalty for Kalsha, but I believe Kalsha, with that 10-second removed, would be ahead of Crowden, so he'd be just behind Ivan with that. And then of course we'll run through the remainder of the field right there. But I mean, a race filled with drama, let's say, filled with drama, obviously with Pablo's internet issues forcing him to obviously disconnect from the session, and then of course with the safety car, the first safety car caused I can't remember who caused the first safety car, but it was a front wing off for one of them, and it led to a huge shift in how the race transpired. Of course, Pittman does get the race win. Driver of the day by the in-game fans goes to Ivan. Crowden gets the fastest lap, with Osku getting the most overtakes of the race. But let's run you through the order again. Is IRT's Pippin with the race win ahead of Snack in second place. Edward in P3 with Finley in P4. Typical P5 with Osku in P6. Kevin Zumberg in P7. Ivan P8. Crowden in P9 with the fastest lap. And then of course we got Jules in P10. Outside the top 10 we got Kaljak. We got Justin and Jerome. Of course Pablo was not in his car throughout the entire session, so he won't be classified. Now non-finishers were Venom, Sergio, Knight and Caden. And from what we saw in that race as well, it was a case of Pablo disconnecting, first safety cars out. We see several drivers, Sergio, we see Knight, and was the other driver that went for the overtake, Caden.
It was Caden, Sergio, and Knight all got screwed by it. Knight did the right thing and gave the places back, but man dropped so far back. But like, if he stayed in the race, that second safety car would have absolutely saved him. But like I say, that's one lesson I've learned: never give up too early.
Well, that's the thing as well for Caden also. I mean, All Elite Racing Team might have had a chance to finish in 7th this season, but with that 10-second, he thought his race was over and done with, came into the pits and retired, and then the second safety car comes out, which would have saved him. But yeah, a case of a bit of over eagerness, I say, to get the overtake done on that ghosted AI. I mean, we all know that the AI, as soon as you cross the line, the AI is going to get out of your way because there's blue flags immediately. Like, the AI is just going to slam on the brakes and slow up as soon as you cross the line. It's just the way the AI is coded. The one thing you got to do is just make sure you don't overtake the AI before the start finish line. We saw several drivers do that, and they ended up with 10-second time penalties because of it. And at Knight, he did give the place back, but he lost so much time in doing so, it just was not worth it for him to do it like that. But yeah, I mean, what else can be said? Like, obviously, from that race, I mean, Snack drove absolutely fantastic throughout the race. A well-deserved podium. Arguably, the safety cars may have hindered him in his race. But at the same time as well, what a drive, and the defensive drive at the end from IRT's Pippin to get IRT's first race win of the season in the final race of the season. And potentially, just looking at the standings and the point system, a quick reminder of the point system real quick. Obviously, 22 points for the race win. And then when you look at the I believe his teammate as well finished down in, was it 8th or 9th? So that'd be what, 29 or 30 points for IRT. And then obviously you had like 10 or 11 points for All Elite Racing Team. Actually, not with things disconnecting, he dropped down out of it. I mean, All Elite Racing Team, I think I've dropped to P9 in the championship.
Well, we'll have to wait and see for Stuart reports. So people should get those reports in as soon as possible, and then we should be able to get those reports done and dusted, and we should have official results. Hopefully should have official results in the next couple of days.
Yeah, again, obviously, we said it a few times in the past couple of streams, but a massive congratulations to Shazoo Cedar Igniters on the championship win. They sealed it up in round number 10 at the Circuit of the Americas. And since then, I mean, they've been driving, obviously, with nothing really to fight for. But the way they've performed over the course of the season, a thoroughly deserved championship from Shazoo.
Yep, very much deserved.
Yeah, obviously ET8 as well, securing second place last time out in Mexico. Again, like they've had a fantastic season, a couple of wins for them, countless podiums, drivers performing for them. TF10 securing P3 in the championship here tonight, and a fantastic season from the top three, all of them securing race wins over the course of the season. Obviously IRT picking up the race win at the end. What could have been for them if they were here at the start of the season, we'll never know though. But what we do know is that Shazoo probably deserve champions, and they will be enjoying the winter break now, where of course they'll be able to to relax over the course of Christmas and New Year. They'll be able to breathe a nice sigh of relief, I think. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it does bring an end to the stream and an end to the season here in the Console Championship for CTC. I have been Michael Edwards. He has been Piney Penguin. And we'll see you next time for next season. But until then, guys, it's goodbye from the pair of us. Goodbye.